you're probably doing your vision board wrong. And you might be asking, how do I notice? Well, you probably look at your vision board and you're probably like, you get no motivation from it. You just look at it and you're just like, what is this vision? Because I can relate. That's exactly how I felt. Like I made a vision board at the beginning of the year, and I was just like, okay, this is how it's gonna be. It has like, oh, like you can look at, I have on my Canva, like I printed it out, and I have like all these different achievements, like, oh, 4,167 subscribers per video on my actual on my main channel, $10,000 per week, and I have to sell this amount of products and do this, and I have to reach 100,000 subscribers and get this MacBook Pro and get like get these sponsorships, get this car, get this camera, and all that. And it's like all these like physical things, like these just things that are physical and like they kind of are like meaningless in a way. Like, like physical things just fade away. And if you I'm not saying there's anything wrong with like, you want a car and all that, because obviously I'm still gonna achieve all those things. But it's like when you put those on a vision board where it's supposed to like, that's supposed to be your focus. That's supposed to be like what's your motivator, what you're driving towards. If you put things like this, it's like, it becomes really like just focused on physical stuff and products. It's like things that are like meaningless. And when you eventually get those things, then you're gonna be like, oh, what did I all do it for? Like, what was the purpose of all that? So like, I've just been in a really like good time of isolation with like God and really just praying and just asking Jesus, like really like evaluating everything within my life, my own thoughts, everything, just clear everything, because isolation is so good. Sometimes when you just really need it. I just completely redid my vision board and spent time in prayer really. And first I have like my little section up here. It's passionate, persistent, and then partition. These are the 3 words. You don't have to do it like this, but I would suggest you find words that like you get from God. Like God is gonna give you a word on, like he's gonna give you a word of what you need to do, of what you have for that year, what you have for this season. And this is what it really felt like. These 3 words, actually, one of these words I had from the beginning of the year. I actually liked this part of my vision board, which is persistent Christian. And I can turn from Chris action. And it says my little mission and all that. I actually kept my mission statement and then my little logo and all that. But I really like ask God, because like a lot of people say like, oh, just there's one word, or there's a Bible verse, but then like God speaks to us all differently. Like you have to understand that like not everything's the same. Everyone is not the same. God uses different people. He uses you in different ways. And if you just expect a clear-cut format for every single thing, then that really limits yourself on what you can hear God telling you, and it really boxes in like the purpose he has for you. Get lost in trying to squeeze yourself into someone else's purpose and like a little template, rather than really listening in on the Holy Spirit and what he's telling you. And then just like, it's really easy to get lost in that with so many people saying, oh, this is the best way to make the vision work. And I'm making a video on it. I'm really just showing you like what God did for me. And this is not saying this is like the perfect way or anything, but this is what God showed me, and maybe this might give clarity to someone else. So yeah, these are my 3 words, and I kind of wrote the definitions down, and the definitions that God gave me of it, like I also searched up definitions because these are taken from certain places, but not all taken from like the same exact like dictionary per se. Because passion, I put strong feelings or a strong belief. That's something I have to remain passionate about what I'm doing, passionate about the work that I've been called to do, passionate about the people that I'm called to help. Because it's like, if I don't have any strong feeling or strong belief in any of that, then what am I doing? I'm just wasting time. I'm not moving forward. And if you're not passionate about something, you're obviously not going to put all your effort into it, no matter what you think. If you're not passionate about it, you're truly not going to put in 100%. And I have persistent, continue firmly in a course of action, spite of difficulty or opposition. So if you don't have persistence, then you're not going to get anywhere forward in life. Like you're just going to stay stagnant when when the next like obstacle comes, when mental blocks, when like all these things come, you're just going to be like, oh, let me throw in the towel. But that can't work. That's not going to work. And then partition, that was a new one they gave me. And I was like, at first I was like, God, really, what is partition? I literally went into Blue Letter Bible, which is like this cool little thing where it like lets you find the definitions of words within the Bible and like what it actually means in the Hebrew meaning or the Greek and the actual original text, which is absolutely amazing. I love it. And then I found it means to separate apart from the rest by erecting a partition. That's literally what it means. And I was like, God, what does that mean? Like, what do you mean for that for my life? And it was just like partition. He's gonna partition me from a lot of other things. And when it means it means to separate from the rest. So he's like separating me from the rest, separating from me from like everything I think. I keep thinking in this, I get caught up really easily. It's something I struggle with. I need to get better at. Like struggling with the natural, because being a very logical person, it's easy to get caught up in just thinking like, oh, this has to work this certain way. And if not, then how's it gonna work? It's like not possible and all that. But, or you like think like if you're the first one in your family or your first person that you know of, that it's like kind of happening to you, you're like, is this really gonna work? Like, or like when you don't have a life template, it's like a lot harder. But that's what he showed me. It's like gonna partition me, separating me from the rest. And it's just taking me down a different road and a different path. And I'm not gonna discuss all of that because obviously the internet, but it's just different. It's just different. It's a lot more different from really what I would like think logically. And that's perfectly fine, and just fully surrendering my life over to him. Oh, and I have my mission over here. I have my little logo on the main channel. I have my mission to help young men grow mentally, physically, and spiritually, to get and pursue Jesus passionately and wholeheartedly, leading them to rise and become the godly men of the next generation. That's my complete mission. That's what he gave me at the beginning of the year, and it's absolutely incredible because that's my whole entire goal. Like on my channel, if I'm not helping men grow mentally, physically, or spiritually, if I'm not doing any one of those things, then what am I doing? Like, what am I doing? Even if I make a vlog, like how am I inspiring them to get better mentally or physically or spiritually, to pursue Jesus passionately and wholeheartedly? Like if that's not what my life is reflecting, then that's how I know I'm lost. So this remains with me every single day. So when I'm making my videos, when I'm crafting my videos, when I'm doing stuff on social media, it's easy to get caught up and lost in these other things. Cause actually, like, come to think, like, I haven't told a lot of people stuff, but like, I've had a whole entire separate little channel thing about tech that I did that I actually didn't tell people about the videos I did, and I did shorts. I had a couple, and it did really well. Like, one of them got like 1,000 views, like really fast, in like within 24 hours. And like a lot of people liked it. I had a lot of comments, like the likes were high, and people were like, "Oh, keep making more," and all that. But like God told me to delete it, and I was just like, really? I was like, I could literally, like, if I were to stick to that, because I did that like all the way. I think it was last year or the beginning of this year. No, it was like last year, the ending of last year, and I felt like stuck with it. Who knows how big that channel could have been? That could have been like source of income and all that, which is really easy to like give into, but you just like delete it. And I was like, oh, okay. So I did. Even though like tech is like one of my big passions, like that's what I really wanted to do when I started YouTube. That's not what I'm called to do. And if you're not if that's not a purpose that God's given you, and you start doing your own thing, then you come out of his alignment. And then when things happen, like to what, like, if something happened to that channel or like things happened, I couldn't blame God, and I don't have his divine protection over that, because that's out of his will. When you put things out of his will, then you're just allowing the devil to just come in, because this is not what he called you to do. If he said, okay, delete it, then I'm gonna delete it. Like, even though it's so much easier to, like, tech videos, like that stuff that I can make that so fast. I can like make the shorts. Like there are a lot of big tech creator, like people my age actually like blowing up, and I'm just like, man, that's crazy to think about. But like that's not what I was called to do. And if I continued down that path, like who knows what happened? I don't know. I could have been really successful, but you just don't know. So yeah, just really have a mission statement. Have something that keeps you aligned, and keep it somewhere you can see it every day. I have mine on my desk. Eventually when I get an aesthetic space and like my own place and all that, I want to be able to like, maybe make it into a picture frame, or I don't know, wallpaper. Not a wallpaper actually, because I don't look at wallpaper enough, but like something like, it looks nice in the area. But yeah, keep a mission. And then what I did, the next part, it was God was telling me it's a vision board. Why? Like why? Like especially guys, like what we do, we like to like just put everything in like these words, like you know, oh, I want to read. It's like a bunch of statistics and a bunch of these numbers and all that and all these like words. But like if you think about humans, we don't. Humans are visual creatures. We like to, especially guys. It's like we're visual creatures. We don't like if you just have a bunch of words. I'm not saying remove all words because have words and they're important. But if you only have words on it and it has like no meaning, it has nothing to where you can see it, then it's easy to just think of it as a statistic. It's just like people that with YouTube and they talk about like analytics and they get lost like, oh, all these likes, these are just numbers rather than thinking these are people. Like they're people with like 1 million subscribers and they're just like only 1 million subscribers. But you have to think about that's 1 million people. Like there aren't even stadiums that can fit 1 million people. Like if you look at like a stadium with like 80,000 people and like these Super Bowl stadiums and these like World Cup stadiums, they don't even fit 1 million people. And you're like, wow, that's so many people. So imagine 1 million people. So yeah, it's really easy to get lost in numbers and statistics. Especially for like people that are logical, as I mentioned before. And and yeah, so yeah, I really like prayed and asked God. And it's like, yeah, I feel like you really have to get into, you have to put yourself in isolation. That's what I recommend. Like you can't get distracted by like all these other people, even from like friends or like family. You have to get into a space where it's just you and God, and you kind of like you. That way, those are the only influences coming in. Because it's really easy to just like even if things are good, because it's not bad to say like, oh, I want these sponsorships, and I am gonna have these sponsorships, but that's not this whole entire vision board. Because like when I get that, it's like, oh, okay, so what's the next? So the vision board, I got pictures. I actually got them from my Pinterest. Put you onto Pinterest. Any guys that are not on Pinterest, I'm telling you, Pinterest is amazing. There's so many great things. I love it so much. And I got things that really like what God put in my heart and what God has called me to. Like, okay, my this picture right here, it's this little like hands, holding like I see a woman and a man, and they have their Bibles. So it's like a godly relationship, and they're having a little Bible study. And that's something obviously that I want. Like, even though I'm only turning like 18 in like a month, it's still something that drives and motivates me to have the woman of God that God's called me to, and to serve Jesus and be brought closer by the connection and love for Jesus, putting Jesus first. So that's a big motivator. Right here, I have this. I searched up pictures of men friendships. That's actually what I searched up on Pinterest. And I printed it out because it's like these guys and you see silhouettes, and you can see they're kind of just. It looks like they're looking forward. They look like they're in this group together. You can tell it's like close knit. It's not a lot of guys, but they look. It has like this strong power, like with the silhouette, and then like it looks like they're looking forward and into the future, and that's kind of what it represents for like my community that I'm building. And I understand that my community isn't necessarily like, I don't want just a bunch of random people. I want people that are truly seeking after God, seeking after the purpose, seeking to improve themselves, seeking to get better, to become the next fathers that are gonna raise children, the next men that are gonna lead this country, lead the world, go into all these spaces. That's what I want. So this kind of represents that for me. There's this other picture. It's like it's like more in this country. It kind of looks more like Vermont, I would say. Like, this little barn, and then you see like these horses and beautiful trees and all that. And that represents one part that, one of my ultimate goals is when I like have my own family, to go and have like, I want to have like this ranch or farm, kind of more in this more foresty kind of area, I guess. And with like all these beautiful trees and all that, and to let my kids be able to grow up in a space to where they can they can just live and enjoy life and not have to be like I obviously want to travel with them. That's one of the things I want to do. I want to show them all different parts of the world. But I want them to really have a home base to where it feels like home and it's just safe and you just have able to be outside and be able to have the things that I wanted when I was younger. Uh, the next thing over here is actually I don't know if you can see it's like this little family at this dinner table and they're kind of just out here in this like field I guess you would call it and you can see the sunset and that's just another thing just really like this family like this husband and wife and kids and it's all gathered together and that's something that I not just I want that I'm gonna have and that's on my vision board so that helps me keep forward like knowing that if I don't get better like I have to get better for them. I have to get better for my future family. I have to get better for the people that matter to me. Get better for the family that I have now. All the things I value, all the people that I value. Like that's I have to get better. Ow, my hand. I have to get better for continue to grow and get better for them. And then the next thing is just little it looks like waking up in New York in this like high-rise apartment in New York. And that kind of one thing that does represent like I do want to live in a city for a bit. That's still one of the things I've always had to dream of when I was little. But also just like what it represents for me is being able to wake up with this freedom of like you're waking up early in the morning because you want to. And it's like the possibilities are endless. Like you can just look out and it's like this sense of peace and just like seeing the world. Like I want to be able to have that freedom and I will have that freedom to just be able to I wake up early and because I love waking up early. I'm a morning person, but as well as the fact that it's just like I wake up and it's like these opportunities I just get to look out and really have peace and rest even as I work. So that's one thing. And then there's this other and it's like this this little couple on like I don't know where what on earth I don't know where this is. It's like the city, a silhouette, and again, that's just motivating more future motivation to really have that godly relationship that God has called me to, and when the time has come for that, that's when it is, and that's just another motivation. You can just see like peace and like that's what it's supposed to be. Not all this divorce, and I feel like all that it's been normalized, which is bad. And like really like people not, getting with people that God has called them to be with, which I think is so important. And then my last is it's like all these friends, like this group of friends, they kind of look like young adults. It's kind of on this beach, and I don't know if it's sunset or sunrise, but it kind of just running into that, and that kind of represents just the community and the friendships that I want to build. Just being able to have amazing friendships with other people that are into the creative field or entrepreneurship and all these different areas, like the things that I'm also interested in as well. And I don't want all my friends to just be like in the exact same field because you have to build upon each other. But people moving towards a common goal, a similar mission, and in unity. And when you have a good group, you really can move so much farther than you could ever imagine. And then you might be asking, why is there so much blank space on there? There's so much blank space. And I actually did that purposefully because another thing I was hearing from God to do is to leave space. Like with your vision board, I would recommend you leave space on there purposefully, because as you grow and you get older and inevitably you're gonna, I don't want to just say change, but you're gonna evolve as a person and just continue to grow. There are gonna be new things that you really want on there. You're gonna maybe want, not just want, but like the things that you have in like your vision, I guess, in like person. I don't know how to explain it, but like you know what I mean. Like there are things that like your values are gonna continue to grow. Because what I'm saying now, my values is that I want to be able to live in the city and part of it, and I also want to have this farm, or like a ranch, and like live in the country as well, live in all these different areas and be able to travel and all that. But you can imagine when I'm like 35 and I have my wife and kids, that's like being like just like wanting to travel all the time with like in the city and do all that. My life is gonna change. My lifestyle's gonna change. I'm gonna have to be slow down a bit for my kids, and I still am gonna travel and all this because I want them to have that experience. But things change, and even now I can know even in the next year, like God might put something on my heart and I'm just like, oh, let me put that on there, you know so it's just like, and it, of course, these are things that will continue to stay on here and just continue to grow. Like this relationship, that's something that I really truly want. And it's like, once I meet the woman of God that God's called me to, in that amazing relationship, it's like then you can like kind of check that off, and it's amazing. And one thing I don't do, I don't put word labels on it, at least for me personally, because it helps me when I look at the image. Then I have to spend that mental energy, the mental capacity to actually think about that goal, think about it, and rather than when you have the words on it necessarily, at least for me personally, when I have the word on it, then I'm just like, okay, that's it right there. But when I just have the picture, I have to really think and like be like, okay, this is what I'm imagining, because your imagination is so powerful. It's so powerful. The mind is so powerful, and yeah, that's what I have it as. I'll display the space. It's going to continue to evolve and grow. Just as me as a person, that's what I would recommend for a vision board. You cater it to you, cater it to you as a person to grow, and as a person, you're gonna grow and evolve, and that's what your vision board should do as well. So that's kind of it, and yeah, that's kind of just what that's for me. And yeah, the next video is gonna be tomorrow. I'm gonna be posting every single day, kind of just like my little video diary, I guess. This is the little secret channel that I have here. I have my main channel, I think, on the page somewhere, but yeah, Christian, well, that's what it's called. But yeah, that's about it, and yeah, love you guys.